Sweetie, how much are you getting paid to be a camera person today?
Nothing. Am I supposed to be paid?
I mean, we're talking, I don't know, maybe 100 hours just to make this stupid lid work. Doing the best I can here, guys, and being honest. So I hope you at least appreciate that. What's up, people? It's time for an update on the King Zero build. Now, some of you that are close fans and watching the channel may have seen recently, a few weeks ago, that I did a video that I am burned out, completely burned out. And you know what? That's going to happen because something like this requires an insane amount of hours, but not just the hours of actually physically doing it and help from friends. Obviously, Jacob, the boomer, has been tremendously helpful. We've had a lot of fun. Actually, he started a new job, so congratulations to him. And Gavin was coming down here and learning and building too. So it's been really fun at working together, but I got burned out. Just because it's an insane amount of hours and it also requires incredible concentration. A lot of the work is something you have to do on your knees, and that gets old after a while. Even with some nice foam mats and things like this that make a world of difference, it hurts. You know, you wake up hurting, you wake up sore, you're grinding metal all day long, you're welding, you're burning yourself, you're cutting yourself, and that frankly gets old after a while. Because, and I hope some of you forgive me, this is like, let me put it this way. I asked you a question. What actually is my job? Am I a builder? Am I a teacher with Genius Garage? Am I a YouTuber? What the heck am I? Well, you know, Ed Boley, when I last went down to VinWiki, brought that up. And he said, Casey, you need to decide if you're a YouTuber or not. And I kind of looked at him, I'm like, are you serious, man? Like, this is what I do. But he was right. Because since I started my channel, I've just kind of been going on with my life the way I used to, like building and doing stuff. But it's YouTube that makes everything possible. It's YouTube that allows me to actually have something of a modest income. And it's YouTube, my YouTube channel, that actually makes enough people care about Genius Garage that gives the students an opportunity. So like this Corvette right here, nobody would care about it or the students if it wasn't for me making YouTube channels and showing it. There's no magic government money. There's no magic school doing it. And there's very few wealthy people that donate. It actually comes from a lot of you out there that donate, and my blood, sweat, and tears, volunteering, not getting paid to do Genius Garage. So it's my YouTube channel that makes all these things possible. But the thing that's been difficult about this is, and this is a talk, I know there's like 4 trolls out there that are like, dude, all the Casey ever does is rant. Well, hey man, that's probably because the algorithm only shows you those videos because those are the only ones you watch and type about. So maybe watch one of the many other hundreds of videos. So the thing about doing this is, that's rough, and if you've seen the VinWiki video update most recently, I went on about how I grossly underestimated it. Now, I built cars before and this, and I realized the time it takes, but with as, shall I say, deceptively simple as this shape may be, and you're welcome to kind of walk around and see, it requires so much incredible precision. And I have to spend countless hours. You can't just come in for 1 hour and start working and do a little work. If you can't focus a minimum of 5 hours straight on this, and that includes the time it takes beyond that to prepare, get everything ready, position things, and then clean up afterward, you might as well not even start. So just finding 2 full days a week to where I can only focus on doing physical work on this is incredibly difficult. Because the other thing is, this build is not paying me. It doesn't pay me to live at all. And it's a process. And I really love Avalon King supporting this and doing that. That's why I named the car after it. But the trick is, and I talked with him, like, this is not some magic BS Discovery Channel Chip Foose show or something like that where they just magically build a car in a week with a field of camera people around. Let me show you something. You want to see who the camera person is right now? That's my wife. Isn't she lovely? Sweetie, how much are you getting paid to be a camera person today?
Nothing. Am I supposed to be paid?
No, people don't understand. They think I have a magic crew. Here you go. And magic massive sponsors. I don't. I'm a normal, real guy. So the sad thing is, I hope you guys understand that there's only one of me, okay? I can't just magically do stuff. And this car has become way more than I ever imagined. And that's just, you know, something we all didn't figure. Myself and Avalon, none of us all figured that it was going to be like this. But we're trucking through and getting it done. And I just hope that that is something that you guys take away from this for real life. I'm not complaining. okay? I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you the way it is. And the trouble with this is now, this is a serious and beautiful car. I could slap it together, just weld a bunch of crap, throw a bunch of mud on it, but then I would basically ruin the car. Might as well just give it to Whistle and Diesel at that point. No offense, like, okay, it's a dig. Oh, Casey's being mean to other YouTubers. It's funny, calm down, that's what he does. But no, seriously, like, if I don't finish this to a level worthy of this design and where the build is going and everybody that's put time into this, then there's no point in finishing it. So it has to be done well, and it has to work. Otherwise, I'd be too embarrassed to show it to anybody, and I'm just not going to do it. So it has to be finished to a worthwhile standard of being a good car. And I think that's the real life discussion that I wanted to have with you guys. Obviously, in the last video from a few weeks ago with this, I'm completely burned out. And I was trying to get this thing done on the time, and I can't do it that fast. It's not possible. And I think it's fascinating because all over YouTube, there's a lot of amazing fabricators out there. We see the work they do, but then we take it for granted, like it just magically happens, and there's just magically economics to do, or magically time. It doesn't magically happen. It's artists and craftsmen. And this, being in my face so much with this, and then kind of the hyper intensity of focusing that on YouTube for you all to see, is what has made me more appreciate cars from the past. Of, shall we say, the 50s and 60s, the European cars, whether that's something like a Lotus 11 or a 250 Ferrari GTO or Testarossa or a Jaguar C-Type or D-Type or a Lister or a Coston, you know, all of these cool cars from the time period. And some of those are actually easier because of the nature of how it's constructed, being kind of smooth and roundy versus all these lines. But it makes me appreciate those cars more. Because, you know, when I was younger and restoring them and vintage racing them, I appreciated the heck out of them. I loved them. But the thing I didn't realize entirely, especially until just doing this now, is the modern time we live in, there are a number of attributes of our culture and society that make cars like this not readily able to exist. And maybe you want to walk around, you can see more. Come on over here. You know, it's 2021. And we have loads of computers, and we have 3D printers and such. And then people take that for granted. They just magically think you can go in a computer, design something, and the computer goes beep, boop, 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 car. Doesn't work like that. The other problem with the computer is your ability to design something and have it be beautiful and sophisticated, you are limited by the tool and the interface of the computer. Now, things are getting better, but in my opinion, something designed in a computer will never be as subtly beautiful and perfect of the artist as something done old school, whether it's clay or coach building or something like this. They're not. And it's not even an opinion, you can see it. And I think old school car designers and builders would agree with me on there. So there has to be a balance. And people, frankly, don't get that because they've got so accustomed to something being done in a computer. Or something in like, with coach-built cars like this really started going out in the 60s when fiberglass came around. Because with fiberglass, you could build a buck mold, you know, the initial thing, and then take female molds of it, pop them out of fiberglass, boop, 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 which work great for racing, especially when you have to fix it. And it allowed you to do really complex things in all that regard. But the reason I didn't go that way with this is two reasons. One, cost. It's more expensive, which I'll get to in a second. But also, I wanted to do it old school the way it was done like that. I wanted to learn that. I wanted to scratch that itch. But the problem is it doesn't really work for being a YouTuber where we have to get things done quickly. And actually just doing this build and being stuck doing this build has frankly been detrimental to my channel because all my time has hadn't been doing this to where I can't do other things that are interesting for the channel and growth and people. And I really appreciate all you hardcore fans that are dedicated to this, but this is really a labor of love, creativity, and you know, I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. But I'm only human. It can only happen in the amount of time that is realistic. And that's why in my burnout video a few weeks ago, I basically said, you can go F yourself if you want me to build this to the detriment of my channel, my life, my relationship with my wife, or my having any reasonable kind of income. And I, of course, stand by that. That's kind of hard, but it's the way it is. So just wanted to show you that. It's pretty cool seeing it on the ground. Maybe if you get down a little bit lower too. Now you guys can get an idea of how it will sit. I think if you, from that vantage point, if you see the nose, how that's been cut there and got more smooth that way and a little bit pointier. And currently these panels are sitting in place. These are the rough cuts. You can see they're just sort of sitting there with a little bit of tape and you can see what's underneath. So this is where it comes to be. Now, I know a lot of you are seeing this and going, wow, Casey, you're so close, just weld that in and it'll be done, hooray! Well, yeah, I get that, and you know, from the pictures, it feels that way, and it's exciting, but that's not the case. Even though this is darn close to looking like a car, something just like this lid, getting it to fit perfectly and work and have gaps to where it won't rub and hit on the paint, we're talking weeks of work. If a 40-hour work week is normal for people, I mean, we're talking, I don't know, maybe 100 hours just to make this stupid lid work. Just the lid. And the thing about it is, none of you are going to get to see a big change on YouTube. I don't get to do a massive reveal. You know, I don't get to do some exciting, controversial thing that pops metrics. No, it's tough. So just want you guys to kind of get that and understand that. I do hope that it has inspired people to take up coach building and do that. And maybe for you all, in your position in life, if that's your one project and it's your hobby, maybe you have a normal job, maybe you're retired, maybe you're a young person and that kind of economics don't work for you, then that's great. You can put in a lot of time and really dedicate and make that happen. And I think you should, because it's such a neat technique. I would, however, suggest for your first coach building project, whether you're doing it out of steel or aluminum, first of all, make sure that you're good at welding whatever metal you're using. That's very important. Because that's how you put it together. The rest you can kind of learn on the fly as you go if you process, think, and come up with it. But maybe start with a motorcycle. They're really easy and really small, so you can get through it, learn the techniques, and get done in a reasonable amount of time. I, of course, like to do big and ridiculous things, so I started with a big and ridiculous project. There are other ones that would be simpler. Maybe, for instance, if I made an open wheel Grand Prix looking car that's sort of shaped like a cigar, that would be a lot easier. Or maybe even something that emulates an Indy Roadster of the 50s, that would be a million times easier as well. So I know this is just a walk around here, and there's probably going to be 100 people that comment below. It's like, this is a dumb video, I don't see any work. Yeah, you're idiots. Stop saying stupid crap like that. I'm human, and if you don't like it that I'm human and being honest, then by all means, unsubscribe. I'm gonna be real. You know, if you want cotton candy, go to the fair. Guys, it's being real, you know, and sharing that with you guys. And I hope that for you diehard people, or you people that really want to learn about this, you understand why I'm being honest. I think that's the only. I think that's the best value that I can give through my YouTube channel is being honest. So it is tough work. It is rewarding, but after a while, if it's dragging you down, the reward goes away, and it takes away the the happiness and the fire for the creative type, i.e. me. But you can see, maybe let's look in the cockpit here. This is pretty interesting. You can get an interesting view. So I'm going to walk through the windshield here because I don't feel like opening it all up. And you can see our roof is leaky. And it's leaked in here, and I got some surface rust I got to take care of. So I need to keep this going because I want to get it to the point where the body's on and smoothed up and the lid works, so that then I can, rust-proof it, rust-proofing primer. And I think some people have mentioned a type of primer you can spray it with that you can still weld and weld through the primer. It burns off, but it keeps it from corroding. That could be helpful. I haven't, frankly, had time to look into that yet. And I didn't actually expect our roof to start leaking, so whatever. This is where I'm at. Oh, this is not comfortable without an interior. Ah, boy. Yep, there it is. It's darn neat, you guys. I mean, as it gets finished and becomes something, it's going to be just the most amazing supercar. You know, it's a piece of art. It's not something I want to rally race or jump or drive it so hard because it's only one. I mean, not that you couldn't, but it's like everything that's cool about a Countach, but more extreme and more interesting. And I'm making it. So that's what's neat. Obviously inspired by the Italian designs of the early 70s. And, I wanted to build my own car, doing similar techniques, beautiful V12 engine, mid-engine. And that's pretty neat. And I hope that's a good takeaway for everybody too, is that if you can't get what you want, it's not buyable, then you're gonna have to make it. And that's how I've done a lot of things in my own life. You know, with cars, so many of the cars that I normally would like, whether they're collector cars, vintage cars, or exotic cars, the prices are just inflated to the moon nowadays. And it doesn't seem to make sense to own anymore unless your own life and economics are of such a massively high level that that works. But for people that are of a different economic level, that doesn't work. But maybe if you're of that economic level, you can afford tools and a shop and a garage. And if you have enough grit, determination, a little bit of fabrication experience, you can build something that money can't buy. And that's what I like about this, because sure, there's a few people out there that could build this, and you might be able to throw enough money at them to eventually build something, but nobody has yet. So from where I'm standing, it's pretty satisfying to be doing something that effectively money can't buy. You know, it takes the human element to do it. And this human element doing it did get burned out. So I'm just letting it be. I gotta take care of some things. Some of you may have noticed I'm selling a bunch of my stuff to kind of consolidate. It's nice to have some floor space to work on it. Things like the Dune buggy, my red Formula car is now gone, the Countach body, you know, stuff like that. I'm thinking, what else? My Aston Martin. Just selling stuff, my dirt bike, and you gotta move on. So need to take some time, clean this up, take some time in mind. I also volunteer with Genius Garage to help the students get ready with their Corvette and help them with their IndyCar project, and they have that 944 as well. And just worry about tools and managing that and planning events and everything going on. So that's really what's up, guys. Anybody that trolls in the comments below, I'm just gonna rip you in half because honestly, you know, doing the best I can here, guys, and being honest. So I hope you at least appreciate that. But thank you very much for watching on the King Zero build. There will be more to come, and it will get finished up. Can't tell you when, because if I could tell you that, I already would have known or would have got it done already. We'll take the journey together. See you guys next time. Car racing is the most affordable form of motorsports there is, and it's also the most competitive. So for that reason, you've got to have an amazing chassis. And for me, it's Top Kart. When I'm at a race, I simply go to topkartusa.com, check out their chassis setup and tuning guide, and that's the secret that gets me on the podium. So when it's time for you to go racing, call up Top Kart USA. Shout out to KW Suspension. Guys, this year you're gonna see beautiful coilovers such as this going on many of my cars, including my Porsche 944, my Dodge Viper, and even some of these crazy race cars. And the reason is simple. This is one of the best shock companies in the world. It was founded in Germany in 1992 by Klaus Wohlfarth, and recently they just launched a new 1.2 million square foot robotic warehouse where they're creating unbelievably nice suspension components such as this for 15 different original equipment manufacturers. So whether you're a street enthusiast, a weekend track warrior, or you are building the Le Mans car of your dreams, guys, check out KW Suspension. Unbelievably nice shocks. So go down in the description below, patronize them. You're gonna be glad you did.